And then you guys can ask questions.
All right.
Go on. Pay attention now, because I'm going to ask you. I'm going to get these slides, and I'm going to ask you questions on the next exam for every slide that's on.
Right. I'll put it on slideshare.net.
Go, Alex.
So I work with CaseMate, and we obviously make cases for mobile devices, but I'm the Director of Global Talent Acquisition. Big, long title. Basically means I hire people all over the world. So we have offices in Shenzhen, Ahmedabad, India, Dublin, Atlanta, Georgia, Tucker, Georgia, getting ready to open up in Canada and a couple other places as well. So I've been doing this for 16 years. I've been hiring people. I've hired lots of students. I've had co-op programs and everything. So, but one of the things I've noticed in the last couple of years, and this is actually to your advantage, the way you search for jobs and the way recruiters find people has changed tremendously. So I've hired 24 people this year alone, and I have not used Monster, Career Builder, any sites. I don't use job boards. I use social recruiting. I use Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, different search strings on the internet. In 6 years, I haven't hired anybody from a job board or anything like that. So it's to you guys' advantage. How many people are on Facebook? Yes. There's great apps, and we'll talk about some of those that you can get so you can look for jobs. I actually just implemented a system at work. It's applicant tracking. Just basically means when you apply for a job, it comes in to me. It's all based on social recruiting. So there's a Facebook app, LinkedIn, everything. So everybody knows about the contest, right? I got 14 cases roughly left. So tweet this. If somebody, the first one to tweet that, I'm going to give a case to. How many people tweet? I'll have other opportunities for people who are not tweeting. Done? Was that... John? I've got Daisy Me Roland. And I already know that she wants a pink case. There you go. All right. So let's talk about what we're going to talk about today. Who are you online? How many people Google themselves? And that kind of sounds bad, but she's laughing. How many people go on Google and search for yourself? There we go. That's a better. All right. Importance of networking. There's social networking, and there's still some traditional networking that actually does work. So you can't just put all your eggs in one basket, just like anything else in life, right? So when you're searching for a job, it's not just go to the Career Center and you know, hope they help you find a job, and it's not just go to LinkedIn. You should be doing both. Creative resume ideas. I'm going to show you some ideas, some things that some people have done that attracted my attention anyway. How to stand out and researching companies. So who are you online? So where are we looking? As a recruiter, I'm involved in, not only I'm a recruiter, but I also am the Vice President of Social Media for SHRM Atlanta, which is Society of Human Resource Management. Does anybody know SHRM Atlanta or SHRM? It's a large organization. The largest chapter is in Atlanta. It's all human resource professionals. And these are the different social networks that I'm involved with, that I'm on, or that I'm looking at. And I'm always using these to look for people. But guess what else I do with those? I research people as well. I research candidates. Is there a Kristen Jones in the room? Kristen Jones, you just recently got a new job in the last month, right? Yeah. And you also love dance moms, don't you? Yeah. Purple or white? Purple. It's got a purple. I learned that just in the last 5 minutes. She tweeted out. I went and I looked through her feed, and I saw the things that she talked about she liked, and that's what recruiters do. We go on and we search. I didn't see anything bad. But we do, and I just want to use that as an example. Recruiters really do this. So when you're interviewing with somebody, when you're interviewing for that job, people really do look at your social networks. And guess what? Your Facebook's on private, so they can't see you. There's other ways. I just showed you one. I got everybody to tweet out. So if I had a big job fair, and I said, hey, I'm going to give you a free pen, because right, college students, free stuff, you'll do it. T-shirt, sign up for a credit card. So I'm going to give you a free this, you tweet this out. Now all of a sudden, guess what? I've got access to your information. So I can see Everything you've done. And you're so excited you're not thinking, I just tweeted out that drunk pic last week, right? Yeah, thinking about that. You're just like, free case, free case. So you got to be careful. You got to be careful. So that's why I tell everybody, make sure you have clean, photos, content, profanity, negativity. I want to talk a little bit about this group, TalentWise. They are a background check company, and I'm getting ready to engage them and use them. Is anybody having a background check run on them? Anybody worried about their background check? Okay. TalentWise, what they do is not only do they check your background, they scrub your social networks. And what they're looking for is not just, whatever. They're scrubbing it to see, is there any pattern? Maybe this person's a drug user because of the comments they've made. Maybe they got an alcohol problem because of the comments they made. But a lot of companies are going to this model. So it's not just one person like me going on and trying to see what I find. There's companies that have a whole model around this. You got to keep it clean. Manage your digital reputation. How many people have Google Alerts set up so when something pops up on them? The other side of this is you can set up Google Alerts not only on yourself, but on companies that you're interviewing with. So let's say you're interviewing with CaseMate. There's tons of information online about us. We've got video, we've got everything. But if you're coming in for an interview and you had a Google Alert set up, you might see something that just popped up in the news and you get to talk about it. It shows me that you're interested in the company. I had a guy interview yesterday, and I asked him, what do you know about CaseMate? He said, well, I was just hoping to kind of come in here and find out about y'all. And I said, well, I was like, okay, I was blown away. I hadn't had that. I said, well, did you look at the videos? He goes, was I supposed to? I'm like, that's what we put them out there for. All that information's out there. So the bottom line is research companies. Go to socialmention.com, check out yourself, see what other people are saying about you, see what's being said, because this is what companies are doing. So the big takeaway here is we are doing background checks. We do see it. Even if you think it's on private, there's other ways to see this information. This is when I search myself, this is what comes up. This is the first page. And out of this, what I want to say is the LinkedIn is me, Twitter is me, Facebook is not me. This is my blog. That's an article I was in for a junior college. That's my video channel, pictures, and this is another, this is slideshow where I put a lot of stuff. Every single one of those I control the content on. Every single one of those I control what goes on there, what I say. I've never made a political comment. I've never made a real negative comment towards a person or individual or group, because the minute I do, somebody sees it and they take it the wrong way. How many people go out and blast stuff out on Facebook? How many go out and blast out political views? Whichever side you're on, something comes up and you're like, screw that. Who does that? Yeah, it happens. So, any questions on that? Because now I want to switch. I want to talk about networking. LinkedIn. How many people are on LinkedIn? Good. That's good. If you're not, definitely get on there. I found my job that I'm in right now on LinkedIn. I'll tell you a little bit. You're going to see a video of my company, but I'll tell you a little bit about it. I'm dressed up for work today. Tomorrow I'm wearing shorts. We're very Silicon Valley style company. You bring your dog to work. Everybody's dressed about like y'all are right here. We have foosball, pool tables. Sounds cool, right? We're looking for an intern, too. Marketing PR intern. It's a cool company. But the reason we have all that, and I tell people this, is because we do work hard. We work long, but we want to give you stress relief. You know, it's not about be there at 8. Most people get there about 9:30 or 10, but it's not about get there at 8, leave at 5. It's about getting a job done. I found this job. Only 2 people in Atlanta knew about this job. The person hiring for it and the one person she told. And I just happened to be connected to that person on LinkedIn, and I spoke to them the day that she talked to them about the job, and I reached, and she gave me the name. I had 2 people give me leads on jobs. I reached out to both. CaseMate reached out. I interviewed with them, and within 24 hours, I accepted a job and was working the next week.
So that was a traditional networking thing.
It was through LinkedIn. I didn't know this person personally.
Oh.
So the person I was connected to, I knew them through business. I didn't know them. I didn't have a relationship with them, but we'd connected for business purposes. I don't just connect just to anybody on LinkedIn. That's not what I'm saying. But it was somebody had, they were a recruiter too. We're in similar industries. So we were networking from a business perspective. Number one thing on LinkedIn, have a complete profile. And that's the biggest thing I see students do. You don't think you have a lot of information. What I tell people is take your resume and put it on LinkedIn. They have a tool now where you can actually upload your resume, and I think it'll parse it all in for you. Definitely do that. It's okay if you're a student, you're marketing, you graduate. I know that as a recruiter, but I do searches. Like I said, this is where I search for candidates. I've hired probably about 20% of my hires out of that 24 from LinkedIn this year. I started in the company in November, and I've hired tons of people from LinkedIn. Second, keyword optimization. Make sure they actually just created a new section on there where you can kind of put in your different skills and different things like that. But make sure you use those keywords, because recruiters, when I go into search, I'm searching on key terms. So I'm looking for a marketing, PR intern that knows social media, that knows Tumblr, Facebook, Twitter. That's the things I'm going to type in. So make sure you have those in there. Groups. There's different groups you can join. I'm certain there's a UGA alumni group. There's various, if you're in PR, marketing, whatever, there's AIMA, which is the Atlanta Interactive Marketing Association for marketing students or marketing people. It's a great place if you're a student and you want to do interactive marketing. Go onto that site. Join that group. Post some things. Search for people. Search for people to connect to. Hiring managers. Answers. There's a question answers section, similar to Facebook has the questions and the polls and all that good stuff. They have an answer section, and I highly recommend going there. As a student, you bring another perspective, or go in there and ask questions. Hey, how do I find a job? Use that as your groups. It gets you recognition. People start seeing you in there, and they start seeing your face, and it works. Follow companies. Just like on Facebook, LinkedIn has you can follow a company, you can see their activities. Go in there and follow companies. Follow us. It's not built the same way as Facebook and Foursquare and things like that. You're not getting rewards necessarily, but what you are doing is you're getting information. You're seeing when things are happening at the company. You're seeing when people change jobs. You're seeing when people leave jobs. You're seeing when interns leave, and or you're seeing when they're getting hired, which should tell you there's an opening, or they hire this type of person, or this is the profile they look for. And I would say target companies that you want to work for. Pick 10 companies that you say, you know what, I'd love. What's some companies you guys want to work for? What's like your dream company? Who? Target. There you go. Miami Heat. There you go. I'm pretty sure I think they have a page. Anyone else? Disney? Who? Nordstrom. Disney? Anybody want to work for Disney? I think that'd be pretty cool. But follow those companies. Also, recommendations. You can ask for recommendations. I look at people's profiles and I want to see who's recommended them. For a college student, what are your professors saying about you? Have they said anything about you? We hire a lot of interns. There's a professor in the journalism school, and we use him all the time. We'll call him up, hey, what about this person? What about this person? He'll say, they're just like so-and-so, or they're just like so-and-so. And he knows in our PR group who we have in that group, and we look for his recommendations all the time. Get those on your LinkedIn profile. It's just like a reference. I don't even check references anymore. I go to people's LinkedIn profiles. I like to see what their bosses have said about them, things like that. Granted, they'll have their peers on there that said nothing but good things. I'm not worried about that. I want to know what their bosses are saying, and are they even taking the time to post. This is a great app. How many people, there's a career fair coming up right here in a couple of weeks. Okay, if you have a smartphone and you're on LinkedIn, this is another app. It's called Card Munch. It's a mobile app. I get a business card, I scan it, it automatically pulls it into the app, searches for them on LinkedIn, and then I got all their information right there, and I can connect. It saves the card, and I can connect to them on LinkedIn right there on my phone, and all the information's right there. Got their email. How many people are always on their phones? I know a lot of people are, because when I was out here waiting, I saw everybody was over here like this. I'm sure somebody was driving today like this. I did. So.
Oh, I hope you're
I'm teasing. I would never do that. This is on camera, right? I would never do that.
Yeah, it's on camera.
So this is my LinkedIn profile. What I want to show you is a complete profile. I've got my current title. I've got my education. Go ahead, get it out. I got cases. Recommendations. Here's the people that recommended me. 500 plus connections. I've been doing this since I was number 3 million, and they have 140 million people, so I have like 4,200 first level connections, so I've been doing this a while. Here's the websites, CaseMate, our jobs, my blog, my Twitter handles, and public. And if you go on down, it looks like my resume. And see, people can print it, they can share it with other people, they can print it off in a PDF. You can print it off in a PDF and use it as a resume. My new applicant tracking system that I'm using actually lets you apply to a job with either a resume or your LinkedIn profile. So you don't have to upload a resume, which is one click, but you can just one click on the LinkedIn button, and boom, you're in the system. I got a resume. You ready for this? Tweet this? Another opportunity for a cool case.
How many don't tweet?
If you don't tweet, all right, let me see. All right, it's all right.
Is that good
No,
or bad?
it's not bad. Done. I'll be able to see in just a second. I need an internship, casemate. Brought in phantom cases for the student. That's it, right? Salam. Siri over here. Purple.
Do you have all black everything?
I don't have all black. I don't. I'm sorry. I got purple and I got a white stripe.
White stripe? I'll do the white stripe.
All right. You're welcome. All right, Twitter. Do you think you can find a job on Twitter? There's only, actually the population here is what, 20, 22, 25% roughly is on it? Think you can find a job on there? You definitely could find a job on there. I was talking to a group probably about 3 weeks ago, and everybody there was 55 and older, and they didn't have jobs. And I don't really talk to that group a lot about social media because they're just not on it. But I had one gentleman said, I have not had a job in 8 years. And I was like, wow. He stands in the back of the room, and I said, well, I'm going to tell you just a couple of things you might try. And I mentioned Twitter. He goes, well, that's just a bunch of crap. I said, well, you hadn't had a job in 8 years. You might want to try something different. I mean, it's worth a try, right? You can't. There's a hashtag, which is kind of like marking stuff, the phone number, hashtag jobs. You can search on that, hashtag jobs Atlanta. Search that, you'll get all the jobs that people listed. People list tons of jobs. And people do put jobs on here that they don't put on a website or they don't put somewhere else. It happens. But when you're on there, follow recruiters, hiring managers, companies, just like what we're doing here with Casemate. Do those things. Tweet, retweet different companies, what people are saying. Directories, there's a directory called Twello. Just go to twello.com. It's like the yellow pages. If you want to get, and the whole point of this is, you want to get in front of a hiring manager. And if you can find out who that person is, you can do that through LinkedIn. You can do that through Twillo. You might not have their email address, but you can connect to them. And what I'm seeing when people, and I get that all the time. I just recently had somebody do that. They started following me. They tweeted something to me, and they're like, hey, I'm looking for a job. I'm in marketing and PR. And I was like, I don't have anything open, but, let's connect and send me a resume. I did say that I had the internship, but I think she was already done with school. The Pound Jobs. This is that one that I was talking about. This girl, I was at a conference last week speaking, and she just, simple tweet, if you have any openings for PR or social media, I would love to send my resume. And I replied, I told her, please send. I got nothing perm open at the moment, but do have a social media intern position. Be glad to help you network. And I'd help her find a job. If she, through LinkedIn and tools like that, if I'm connected to somebody and you're connected to me and you said, hey, can you introduce me to so-and-so, I can do that. And it's just like, used to be traditionally, you walked in, I met Dr. Karnock, he had a friend, we had coffee, over a 3 or 5 day period we finally met. With this, it's instant. How many in here like instant? Nobody? Everybody likes instant. Yeah, you love it because it's quick and it's right there and it's now. Same thing with these, so you're taking something that you do every night. How many people are on your Facebook account every night, every day? You're taking something you do every day and you're just turning it into a way to find a job. So on your Twitter profile, make sure you have your name. If you have a website or if you have a blog, have that up there. Have just a brief bio about yourself. And you can see here's my system automatically when I post jobs out, it gives it the hashtag job sign. So if you did hashtag job and you searched in Atlanta, it would know that I was in Atlanta and I had that job. If you did hashtag job, product, or quality, whatever, you'd see that. Any questions? And feel free to ask questions at any point during this. Facebook, Privacy settings, I know you've heard this. It's been drilled into you 1,000 times. Keep it on private. Like I said, even though you keep it on private, there's still ways to find information. So I say keep it clean. Like the company pages. I told everybody about the contest we were running on our page. I think we have 600,000 fans at this point on our Facebook page. So companies do that. They run these contests. But interact with companies. Companies love that. When I see somebody, and actually I'm getting ready to add a tabs to my my Facebook page for jobs. And so now you don't have to go anywhere. You're on Facebook. You decide you look over here. You see something from Casemate popped up because you followed it. You look. You see the jobs. But a lot of companies are going that way because that's where people are. There's almost 1 billion people on there. Interact with companies on their page. I can't stress that enough. The search job tabs I talked about.
Well, what do you mean interact with companies on the page? What do you
Speak to them. Post things if you like their products. If they ask a question, be one of those answers. You might be one of 1,000, but you might be one of the first ones. You might be one of 3. Ernst & Young does a good job of this. Ernst & Young has a page dedicated, I believe it's Ernst & Young, just to their college students. And so they're asking students to go on there, and they actually recruit from that. So they'll go on there and recruit from that page and look at who's interacted and things like that. So traditional networks, internships. Anybody doing an internship? If you haven't, definitely do one. We have an intern from UGA that's leaving. That's the reason why we have the position open. But she's completed her intern. She graduates in May, and we have a position open for sales support. It's in our retail division, and she's like, I would love to do that. I was like, you want to do account management? She's like, yeah. I'm doing social media now, but I'd love to do that. We're going to interview her, and most likely we'll hire her because I went straight to her manager and I said, what do you think about her work? She said her work's good. I know she's always there. I see her. I've interacted with her. And I'm like, I have no reason not to hire her for that position. We had somebody we had interviewed that that we were interested in, but I was like, let's wait and interview her first. I said, because if she's already worked here for 4 months, she knows our environment, she knows our products. I'd rather hire her than somebody off the street. Same level of experience. So get those internships. Co-ops, same thing. Co-op is the same. Everybody knows the difference in a co-op and an internship. Co-oping is great. I had my roommate in college. He actually co-opted with a company that he's still with today, which is wild to me because that was a while ago. Is all I'll say. It was a ways, but he's still working for the same company he co-opted with.
Okay, I probably the only one that doesn't know the difference between what is a co-op.
So a co-op is when you work a semester and you go to school a semester. So intern, you might go and do it for 2 or 3 months, and then you're done. Then you go into your next internship. So co-op, you work through school, you do that, and you go on and off. And some people do it their junior and senior year. Some companies require you to be a junior or senior when you're doing that. Just depends on the company. But if you have a field you're interested in, even if you don't know what you want to do something. Because the first thing I do when I look at a resume, the first thing I do for a college student is I look at the GPA. If the GPA is not on there, my guess is it's lower than 3.0. So one of my first questions is going to be, what's your GPA? So that's a given. Second thing I'm going to do, I'm going to look to see where have you worked. Have you worked? Have you, even if I'm looking for work. So if you had a job at the pizza shop or whatever, that's fine with me. I just want to know that you work. But secondly, where have you done co-ops and internships? So what experience? And then we're going to drill into what you really did, not just, got coffee or that kind of stuff. I want to know that you actually got to do some projects. Campus Career Centers, everybody signed up with them. That's at least a senior, junior. Through your co-ops, your internships, sign up. These guys are great here. I've actually done some stuff with the school over the last couple of years, and these guys are really good. You guys have a good career center, and there's lots of companies that come here. Lots of companies are attracted to the student population, especially from Atlanta. Meetups, has anybody heard of meetups? Meetup, they've now taken this online. Basically, you probably have groups and clubs that get together. There's different people that do that. They'll have them before the Career Center. They'll have like a company come in and do a presentation on the company. And they're kind of talking about the company, what the company does, and all that good stuff. Go to those things. You get a chance to get one-on-one interaction with the recruiter or hiring manager, whoever's there. Volunteering. This is another thing that I look for. So after I look at the resume for the GPA, after I look at the jobs, I want to see where are you volunteering, where are you spending your time, and it tells me a lot about a person if they are volunteering and the type of stuff they volunteer for. What type of things do you think I would look for from somebody's volunteering? What is the employer looking for? Amount of hours is good. Yeah, I want to know that you did. I want to know that it wasn't like something you did because you got pulled over and got a DUI and now you got to do community service. I want to know that.
Maybe dedication to one certain volunteer group.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Anybody else? Leadership. That's the key. So I want to see, not only did you volunteer, did you lead something? Were you a leader? That tells me a lot. That student is going to the top of the heap. So if I got a student with 3.0 or better, obviously the higher GPA the better. If I've got a student that's had an internship or co-op, at least one, maybe two, that's working in school, that's had leadership, that student goes to the top of my stack. That's my favorite resume. Now, you still got to come in and interview. We still got to talk and everything, but that's my favorite, that's top of the stack.
So let's talk about that GPA issue then. So at least for you, and we know these kinds of things vary among people like yourself of how they weigh these different things, but GPA, as far as you're concerned, carries a lot of weight.
It does. I look at a lot of factors, though. So if somebody was paying for their own school 100%, which is what I did, but if somebody's paying for their school 100% of the time, and they're working 2 jobs and things like that, and they've got a 2.8, 2.9, I'm okay with that. That's perfectly fine with me because I know that you're probably busting your hump, and you're not what I would call the average student. If somebody had none of these services, didn't do any of this, didn't volunteer, didn't co-op, didn't intern, and they have a 3.1, 3.2, I'm not as interested in that person. So I figure, you're going to take your time away to go do these things. So I'm going to look at the whole balance there. Usually the cost. I actually had a student I interviewed the other day. He was from Georgia Tech, and he didn't have his GPA on there. What's your GPA? 2.5. I said, not interested. And he said, well, I would think that a 2.5 from Georgia Tech would carry more weight than whatever. And I said, not really. So, community service, any of those things. Is anybody familiar with this career fair that's coming up? This is a big one. It's on April the 10th, and it's the Georgia Association of College and Employers, GACE.org/career fair. A lot of employers go to this. I can honestly say I've never been. I'm not hiring a lot of entry level at this point, but companies that are go to this. Go to the website and check it out for yourself and see. But I know that they've been doing this fair for over 20 years. So something's happening. It's all the colleges get together, and if you're a college student, you go and it's free. Any other questions on that? Absolutely. He asked if we put any stock in foreign language ability, and I'll say absolutely. I was actually just looking for an assistant to help me with all this. We have like 30 interviews, 15, 20 interviews a week, and it's kind of hard. I need somebody to do administrative work. I had somebody come in, and she spoke 4 languages. I was like, sold, done. As soon as I saw the resume, I'm like, okay, let's bring her in and see. And she was great, and we hired her. But that was the big thing that stood out to me. So, sometimes I may ask them, I'll say, all right, so you said you spoke Greek. Say this in Greek, and if they can rattle something off, I mean, I don't speak Greek, obviously. She did. But she could have said anything, and I'd have been like, okay. But you can tell if you told me you spoke Italian, and I said, say something in Italian, and you were like, then you don't speak Italian. So, anything else? Good question. All right. It's not coming. Somebody said it was coming. They thought it was coming. I'm going to show you a short video. This is how to impress an employer. And this is really short. It's about 2.5 minutes. And something I actually put together for students. And I hope I've got the sound hooked up here. And I don't. How do we do the sound?
I don't know if you should ask me, right? They're looking. I mean, this is a technological genius, so. Okay, so you got it plugged in?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we're going to go up.
I have to X out of this.
Okay. And obviously you're already on, so should we be hearing something?
Hopefully. Let's see.
We got the volume all the way up.
Let's see. Maybe I just got it in the wrong one.
No, that's fine.
That's it? No.
Okay.
Can y'all hear that? I hear something. Okay, it's just not turned up.
Is it on yours?
It's playing. The computer is turned up.
Because mine's up as high as it'll go. I do know how to do the volume. Sort of.
There we go. Who said that?
It's going to be loud?
Is it going to be real?
What makes you say that?
I think he's right. It's going to be loud.
Well, we like it loud. Wake them up.
That'll wake you up.
So you can do the volume.
Gotcha. Is that too loud? That's good.
No, it's really loud. We like it.
It won't. All right. So while the people that have Twitter are tweeting this, well, here's a question I want to ask. Let me see the hands of people who are not tweeting, who do not tweet. All right. I want to go with guy in the blue shirt and right here in yellow. Tell me 3 things that you learned from that you remember from that. Yeah.
7 seconds.
Mm-hmm. 7 seconds to make an impression. And it could be something you already knew that you just saw there that you remember.
I guess something looking away equates to arrogance.
Yep, don't look away. So when you're interviewing, look at the person, keep eye contact with them. Good.
Trying to connect with them based on things you guys like.
Bingo. Connect with people on things you like. All right, you get a case. Oh. All right, 3 things from the video. Can't be the same 3.
Okay. So when you first walked in, you greet them with a 10-second smile.
10-second smile or less. 10 seconds might be a little freaky sometimes. Depends on your smile. You don't want to look like the Joker, walking into the interview. No, good.
You don't want to look away because then it makes it seem like you're uninterested.
Don't look away because you'll be uninterested, right?
And you want to have good posture.
Good posture. Absolutely. All right, you get a case. And you have an iPhone, too. All right. Who got the tweet out? Me. Casemate is giving away, whoa. Boy, a lot of people got it out. Casemate is giving away a tablet. Wow. My. Here we go. Jenny baby. She's all over it. All right, creative resumes. Let's talk about that. How many people have a standard resume? Your standard paper, you know, so now you don't have paper anymore. You're not worried about the quality of paper, right? You're worried about, do I send it out? Can I upload it? One thing I'll say about those resumes, keep them pretty clean, keep them pretty simple. So don't put a lot of text boxes and lines, because what happens is when you try to upload them into a company system, they get distorted. So keep it pretty simple. The Career Center here does a great job of teaching that, and they have a great format. I like their format. Who's ever heard of a QR code? QR code, little square that you've seen. I'm going to talk a little bit about how you can use that on your resume, because I'm seeing those pop up more and more and more on resumes. And there's good uses and there's bad uses, and they're easy to make. What I like to use a QR code is to drive a video. I actually got a resume from an accountant, and accountants are not known for, you know, being ultra creative and stuff like this, right? And he had a video link, and it was just him for 1 minute talking, telling me why he wanted the job. So I spoke to him. No one else had done that. And what you did is you just scanned the code on your resume. I watched it on my phone. It was good. I use my phone and my tablets and stuff at home to do tons of recruiting. I look at stuff, albeit not just looking at resumes and everything on it. Sometimes I'm in the office and I'm using it versus my desktop, my laptop. Immerse.com. Write this site down. You can upload your resume here. It is 100% free. It creates a link, so now your resume is posted. So if you don't have a blog or a web page or something like that you're posting your resume to, you can have that all on Immerse.com, and it's 100% free. There used to be another one called VisualCV.com, but they actually shut down. But this one's been around a little longer. So this is Immerse.com. So basically, you have your resumes, you can network through here, you can connect, you can find jobs. The big thing I tell people to use it for is so that you can have a link, so that when you send your resume out versus having to send a document, you can just have that link. Or if you want to put that on a LinkedIn profile, you want to say link, you know, to my resume and have that link, and it goes to a full standard resume. This is a QR code. You've probably seen them pop up. On your mobile device, you have QR readers. You scan it. There's embedded code up under here. Whatever link you put in there is under here. I use it for a lot for video. What I don't like is somebody that has a resume, they have this code on there, and you click on it, and it goes to like their LinkedIn profile, and their LinkedIn profile is all squished because it's not mobile optimized. I like to click and go to like something else, like a video. So how can you use it in your job search? Create video. It shows that you're thinking outside the box. You're trying to make yourself stand out. This is something that a lot of people are doing now. Probably in 2 years it'll be cliche, because you know what's coming after this? Has anybody heard of augmented reality? Oh wow. Okay, you've heard of it. All right, I'm going to blow your minds. This is where I spoke last week at a conference, and I was talking about the future of recruiting and social media and what it was going to look like 3 years from now. The big thing is augmented reality. So instead of me scanning this to go to a website, I'm going to be able to go and I can stand outside of this building. I can scan the building, and it's going to give me all the details about the building. If I'm in front of the White House, I can scan it. If I'm in front of anything, eventually what will happen is I'll go up to a person, I can scan them. You think Twitter following's weird. What if I go, hey, what's up? Gotcha. And it's going to tell me all your information, but this is what's happening. And there's actual websites where people can go on and you can upload your profile, your picture, so that it's facial recognition and everything. Anybody heard of the new Google goggles coming out? Google goggles, think Star Trek, think the goggles, and it's got augmented reality built in, so when I'm walking, I can look at the building and it gives me a readout in front of the goggles. This is coming out this year. A lot. But 5 years from now, 10 years from now, so what about if I'm at a party and I've got my cool Google goggles on, and I walk up and I'm like, hey, okay, and now I got all the readout of you. your Facebook profile, your criminal record. Daisy Rowland? I've got everything, but I can see your Twitter feeds now. I can see everything about you, and it's all right there. That's where this is going, though. That's why I'm telling you. When I was in college, none of this existed. That was 16 years ago. Everything you guys have now was, people were talking to me about, well, one day you'll be able to do this. I'm telling you where it's going, and that one day is 5 years away. So, you can create these too. If you go to Google, goo.gl, you can create one of those. Let me show you this video. Let's see if it's going to work. May take it a second to load. I'm hoping this video is going to work. Jenny baby, give me back your case. It is not an OtterBox. OtterBox is the competitor. See? Instant time. Instant reality. You don't have to give it back. All right, that video is not going to play. But that basically was a video. No, it's not going to play. That was a video of a guy. He created a resume, and what he did, he was an intern in France. He took a resume, and he had his regular resume. On the back, he flipped it over, and he had a picture of himself, which is kind of a little weird, but the mouth was missing. And inside the mouth was a QR code. So you take your phone, and you scan it, and you put it down, and it was him talking to you. Creative. I mean, he was going for a creative job. I'm not saying that would work if you're an accountant or, you know, HR or something like that. Any thoughts on that? Any questions? So, think innovatively. And this is what I tell everybody. You always hear this all through your college career. So what do these two things have in common? What does a termite hill and this building have in common? Anybody know? Or does it have nothing in common? Okay. This anthill, so this is a termite mound that is found in South Africa. The termites create this hill, and what it does, it's a tunnel, and do you know how hot it gets in Africa during the day? And do you know how cold it gets at night in the desert? This thing stays at even 82 degrees. All day, all night, 82 degrees. So there was a person, and he was tasked with building the Eastgate Center. You can Google this. This is a true story. And they wanted it to be built in Africa, and it's a beautiful high-rise, apartments, all this stuff. They didn't want to put an air conditioning unit in it. And they said, you figure it out. You're the architect. You figure it out. So he studied this. He built this on the same principles, and they saved $4 million a year in air conditioning. And the reason I'm telling you this is, think about your job search. How can I be innovative? How can I be creative? You know, there's that fine line of being cheesy, right? But how can I be creative? How can I be innovative? How do I make myself stand out? It's not the purple resume anymore. You know, it's not the nicest grade of paper. How do I make myself stand out? So how do you apply for a job? When you're going in and applying for a job, do you do the same thing that everybody else does? Do you write a cover letter? Some people read them, some don't. In that cover letter, is it the same standard thing? I'm very interested in your job and your company. Well, I know that because you're applying for a job. Tell me something about yourself. I'm not saying be cheesy. Who's your resume going to? You know, think about that. Is it just going into that? Everybody says it's going to the black hole. I didn't get any feedback. Have you went out and tried to find somebody that's in that company, tried to connect to somebody via LinkedIn, via Twitter, via whatever? Find that decision maker. Do a Google search. Go to LinkedIn. Call in and ask for somebody. You know, tell them if the receptionist asks, say I'm a job seeker and I sent my resume, they might shut you down, they might not. You can say, hey, I'm a college student and or walk in. It's okay. Walk into the building. Hey, I sent my resume in and I'd love to talk to the hiring manager or just leave some information for them if I can. That shows me when a student does that, it shows me initiative. And I've had tons of people do that through the years and they just stopped in and asked for me. If I'm available, I will take the time to talk to you. It might be 5 minutes, it might be 2 minutes, but I will take the time to talk to you. And you get an A for at least trying, and then I'll look at the resume and see if it's a fit. But it goes a long way. Obviously, friends, neighbors, anyone you can think of. Be memorable. Stephen Childs is a friend of mine. I've known him for 16 years. He is the head of HR for Panasonic in Peachtree City. This is a real email from his account. He had a guy that sent him this email line, and we've all heard this: new suit, 300, new haircut, all that. Opportunity to interview with the company, priceless. A little cheesy maybe for some people. Stephen liked it. So one of his friends said, "You're going to give him a shot?" He said he didn't fit anything I had open, but it made me want to open a position because the guy did something different. He took a chance. Stephen might have been the type of guy that was just like, well, that's cheesy, but he took a chance. And that's what I'm saying. Does anybody in here blog? It is a great, great way. If you are a vain person, I highly recommend you blog. I love to blog. But the thing is, it gets your information out there. It can be about whatever. I mean, it could be about Georgia football or whatever. The key is you control the content. So if you're a marketing student, maybe you talk about that. Maybe you talk about your co-op, your internship. Obviously, be careful. Don't say anything bad. Maybe you're doing that. Maybe you talk about your first year in college. And it makes you searchable, though. And these are things. Remember when I do that Google search on you, I'm going to find these things. You control what's out there. And all this is free to do. Shows me what you're interested in. Great for being found. If you don't like to blog, maybe you guest blog with somebody's blog. I guarantee you somebody's got a friend that blogs. I would imagine somebody in the school, one of the schools, probably is looking for some students to come blog all the time. Do it. Get your name on it. Shows that you're active. Comment and engage. Go to other people's blogs. Go to job search blogs and comment on them. Find out if that recruiter or that hiring manager in that company blogs. Go to their blog. Because it's right there. Remember my LinkedIn profile? The blog's right there. You click on it. Go to it. Read some of their articles and comment on it. It makes you stand out. It makes you different. Connect your resume and content. And I'm going to show you here. This is my Meet Alex. This is my page on my blog. That's me and my family, my 4 kids. That'll be y'all in 20 years. But I've got just this is just a brief video I created. Did it in, I forget what program I did in, Microsoft program. It was easy, quick. It's 1 minute, 14 seconds. It's my life in 4 decades. And view my complete resume here. This is why I got the job that I'm in right now. They saw my LinkedIn profile and they saw my blog. They went to it. They saw the video and they said, we're a cutting edge company. We want somebody like that. When I interviewed, I found out later after I got the job, she said, we wanted to call you the hour after you interviewed. And I know people that are better recruiters than me. Trust me, I know people that are better at their job than me. But this is what they found. They went down the bunny hole that I wanted them to go down. And that's what I'm saying. You can direct these hiring managers to go where you want them to go. You control all this. One more tweet this. This is a little, this fulfills my vanity. So, any questions while we're going through this? Yes?
So there are ways around Facebook privacy settings. Can you go over this again?
Yeah, not necessarily. There's always one. And I always get the other question is, how do you set those up? There's not really a way around it necessarily, but let's say that you say something and then a friend repeats it, copies it, somebody puts it out there. Let's say for whatever reason, Facebook, I know they never do this, but they decide to change their privacy rules and then you don't have it set anymore and you got to go right back in. There's always that window of opportunity. And somebody you're connected to, how many people have 1,000 friends or more? And how many people know every single one of those 1,000 people? Somebody you're connected to may be connected to a hiring manager, may see that. And if I say I've got a mutual friend, and I say, oh, okay, and you'd be surprised. I mean, do you think this is like there's 4 million people in the city of Atlanta and this could never happen? It happens every day. I've had to fire people for what they tweeted. I had somebody that was a contractor, and she decided on her first day to tweet out a comment about the company, and it wasn't in a positive light. She was gone within 3 hours. Out of there. People are monitoring this. Companies are monitoring it. But so to answer your question, if you got it set on private, your pictures are showing, I couldn't go on there and see you, but there may be somebody connected to you. And I don't know what TalentWise does. I mean, I'm sure they may have a way to get around it. All right. First one is Mark. Hoefer. Hofer. I already gave you one.
Yeah, but you didn't give one.
The next one is Haley. All right. Purple, or I think I only got white left. Yeah, only got white left. All right, there you go. Oh, we're getting there. I got some more to give away. Mobile. You can search for a job on your phone. I tell people this all the time. When you see your employees on their phone, they may not be texting their spouse. They may be looking for a job. But this is good for you because you're looking for jobs. Jibberjobber.com is a great place to keep up with everywhere. So, you know, how many people are you? If you're not that organized, you can keep up with everybody you've interviewed with, the companies you've interviewed with, you've networked with, all through this site, 100% free. Different apps. LinkedIn has a mobile app. You can search for jobs. People post jobs. I post jobs on LinkedIn that I don't post other places. I've posted confidential jobs on there so that people wouldn't know that I had it on my company site because I didn't want them to know about it. People post internships. Our internship job that I have right now is not posted on our career site because it hadn't been officially approved, although I know it's already approved, but we're already getting resumes for it. But I haven't posted it yet. Card Munch, I told you guys about. Monster and Career Builder do have apps. Use them, search for jobs. Indeed.com. Anybody familiar with Indeed.com? It's a huge aggregator, so every job that's posted on the web is indexed and put into Indeed.com. It's a one-stop shop. They have an app. It's very easy to use. And JobSpeak is another one, a little less known. This one gets about 16 million hits a month. This one gets about 15,000 a month, so you can see the difference. But this is kind of the up-and-comer, in my opinion. But again, there's jobs on here that you won't find anywhere else. It's worth looking at. So this is just some quick stats about mobile that I like to give out. We already talked about how many people are on their phone, but in an average week, this percentage of mobile users do this. 81% of people browse the internet, 48% watch video. You can read. 39% use it in the bathroom. I have an iPad stand in my restroom. My wife hates it. I love it. 70% use while in a store. 95% to find local information. Direct ads. I mean, mobile, you guys are at that, you're all on mobile. I mean, everything. I guarantee you, how many people in here own a desktop? 1, 2, 3, 4. About the same percentage I get from other crowds. How many own a tablet or a device of some kind, mobile phone? Yeah, almost everybody. That's where it's all going. And apps are huge. So, researching companies, doing your research, do your homework. There's lots of great places that you can find information. Glassdoor.com, write that down, remember that. Glassdoor.com is a site that people go on, employees, and they make comments about the company. And it's 100% confidential. So the company can't see who made the comment. It could be good, could be bad. You can research the CEO and see what people think about them. You can do tons of stuff. You can also and again, they have jobs over on the side. All these places you go, they're all advertising their jobs. But Glassdoor.com is a great place to find out about companies and really see inside a company. LinkedIn, obviously, I've talked about. Google searches, obviously. The Facebook fan page is a great place to kind of learn the culture of a company. Twitter. All right, hopefully this video will play. I'm going to give you guys a peek into CaseMate. I use this video. It's on my LinkedIn profile, and this just kind of gives you a peek into the company.
I like working at CaseMate because for someone just out of
Georgia grad.
it's the opportunity of a lifetime.
I like CaseMate because I can be really creative.
I thoroughly enjoy working at Casey because it's such a place. They take everything seriously here, and when I walk in the door, it's just straight to business.
How do we define Casemate's culture? A bit quirky, lots of fun, a bit surprising at times. We try to keep a very relaxed and casual atmosphere where people feel very comfortable being themselves. So the unique things we provide our employees are a phenomenally casual environment to work in. If you get bored, we can play on floors. If you get bored, we can play ping pong, foosball, pool. We allow our pets to be brought to work, so we have dog areas. We allow children to come to work. Having inter-department or within department team building exercises creates two things. One, it creates a phenomenal bonding between employees. Makes them more than employees together, makes them more than teammates. They become friends. Casemate employees are what make the company successful. The execution rests on my employees and they're the ones who actually run the company. They take my ideas and make it into a reality. They take my vision and translate it into a reality, into profit. So my employees and my teammates are truly what make this company successful.
Who wants to come work at Casemate? We're going to hold off on just a second. All right, I need two non-tweeters. Two non-tweeters. I saw the pink shirt go up first. Looking for a guy hat right here. All right. Tell me one thing you learned about our company that you watched when you watched this video. About our culture. What do you think about the company culture?
By bringing that, you could bring your dog, your kids, basically your life to the company, and that makes you guys closer, and you guys can perform the job better.
Yep. Pass that down to her. All right. Tell me something about our CEO. What do you think about him, his personality?
Seems like a really nice guy.
Good safe
He
answer.
has everybody, instead of having him kind of seem like run the whole show himself, he has everybody else work underneath him, turn his visions into actualities. So.
Yep. No, perfect. And that's truly how he is. Honestly, I walk by his office. I have never, ever in 4 months seen him sitting behind his computer doing this, ever. He's always out and he's about, he's doing, he's ideas, he's creating, and he's getting the team together. So it's definitely a place that everybody can collaborate. All right, last tweet. The thing about the videos that I want people to also realize is that go to the company videos and look and see. Get a real peek in the culture. You can tell how many people have been to a corporate website where it was the CEO in his shirt and tie, and he's sitting behind the big desk, and he's talking about, our 7 core values are this. It's boring. Every company has 7. You know what our number 1 core value is? Happiness by design. We want people to be happy while they're at work, while they're doing work. All right, let's see if we have a winner. I'm going to go with the first 2, Abby Elkins and Drew Richardson. Drew and Abby. There you go. I'm assuming that's Drew and you're Abby. There you go. You're welcome. Oh. Daisy's a UGA grad. The video you saw was at least I counted 5 UGA grads in there. We hire Georgia grads. Any questions? Did you learn something today?
Yes.
Are you going to be able to implement it and go forward and use this today?
Yes.
Awesome. I have one more case that I don't want to take home with me. Who scored the highest on the test that was just given out?
We have several 100s, so.
Give me all the 100s. Raise your hand if you had 100.
100.
Oh,